2-second countdown. Let's go. NHL Deep Dive 2026. Ready to be disappointed. Let's see.
I'm Craig McMorris, and welcome to the NHL 26 Gameplay Deep Dive. I have always loved Chell, so I am beyond stoked to introduce what's new in-game this year. The headliner is the next evolution of IceQ. In IceQ 2.0, which is now powered by NHL Edge player data, whose incorporation makes your favorite superstars think, move, and play more like themselves. To take us through the details, let's pass it off to Mike Englehart and David Pritchett.
Let's hope it's
Thanks,
good.
Greg. This year, we're building on IceQ's defining vision of true hockey intelligence by incorporating the data-driven innovation of NHL Edge, which powers how superstars play in NHL 26. The NHL's groundbreaking puck and player tracking technology uses 14 infrared cameras placed inside all 32 team arenas to capture data from sensors embedded in every puck and tags sewn into players' sweaters. In NHL 26, IceQ 2.0 uses that treasure trove of NHL Edge player data to impact how players perform in-game. For example, we've reviewed Ovi's historic trends and performance data and used that to update his character's attributes and tendencies, so his skills are aligned with his real-life self. And AI Ovi will naturally position himself in his patented power play spot
We'll
at
have
the
to see
appropriate
how
time.
good that actually
Altogether,
is.
that means AI
promising,
players start to think, move, and play like your favorite stars.
We've needed that for a long time.
Attributes are one of the main pillars of how IceQ 2.0 incorporates NHL into the game. It's used to inform key player attributes like skating acceleration, top speed, up power, and wrist shot power, giving in-game superstars true-to-life differentiation. So when you play with or against Connor McDavid, his acceleration and speed are aligned with the stats in the real world, a difference you really feel in-game.
What makes a superstar stand out is their individual tendencies on the ice, highlighting their signature moves, like Draisaitl taking sharp angle shots on goal, and McKinnon's love for laying out the body brings her on-ice character to life. So far, we have 22 unique tendencies spanning both offensive and defensive impacts that have been crafted to make those in-game NHL players perform in lifelike fashion.
One of the big components of IceQ 2.0 is how it presents in-game. You can feel it as you play, but it really comes alive with new animations and visualized breakdowns. Expanded replay insights highlight everything from skating speed, shot speed, shooting percentage, and threat analyses on goal. New broadcast graphics showcase player comparisons at face-offs to amp up the in-game storytelling. Speaking of, multi-story replays will now highlight important, sequential game narratives. We've also created new cameras to capture those big moments and give them the spotlight they deserve.
The all-new goalie crease control system brings players an upgraded awareness between the posts, thanks to 81 new animations, close-range saves, poke checks, as well as upgraded AI positioning that gives goalies increased control over the blue paint. Previously, extended animation sequences saw goalies lock into positions as the action moved on around them. Now, real-time reactions allow goalies to respond fluidly to changes in puck direction with split-second reflexive responses that really add excitement to high-pressure moments. And if one slips past them, new goalie reactions let you feel their emotion when the opposition lights the lamp.
That might actually
the goalie crease control system provides
really
an increased level of realism and effectiveness to the netminders that we know players have been waiting for.
We also know that the community has been wanting a more impactful approach to X Factors, so we've crafted an arsenal of 28 refined and enhanced X Factors that span 5 different categories with unique animations and tactical gameplay outcomes. Each of those X Factors has 3 tiers of impact, which can be felt and seen more clearly in gameplay with new, distinct gameplay animations and presentation elements. The goal in reworking the system is to create more meaningful gameplay effects for each X Factor and ensure they bring genuine strategic differences to each game. So when Evan Bouchard fires off his rocket X Factor, its speed and power may catch the opponent's goalie by surprise and stun them in-game. X Factors are now a formidable on-ice weapon that makes superstars truly feel like superstars.
As you can see, incredible updates to Chell this year. I'm excited for you to get in the game, get on the ice, and see yourself. NHL 26 is available for pre-order now.
Where's the... Oh, I guess, that was just gameplay deep dive, right? Yeah, gameplay deep dive. So that wasn't like a Be a Pro deep dive or franchise deep dive. Those might be separate things. see what the chat's saying. Hell nah, LL meh. Yeah, I don't think people understand that this is just a gameplay deep dive. There wasn't a lot, actually, there was quite a bit I wanted to talk about here. I'm not going to go through the entire video like I did last time and like hyper analyze every second, but there was a few things I want to talk about here. If we can just go to like maybe 2x speed and just look for it. I guess we could talk about, I guess we might as well just go through frame by frame and just talk about some of the new stuff we see. So there's that toe drag. In the playtest, I really enjoyed this toe drag. I thought it was fun to use. It was one of the things I actually noticed the most, which I don't know if that's what you want to notice the most. At first, I was kind of convinced this was the only change, and I was like kind of concerned, but now that I've seen the other ones, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But this was fun to do. What else do we got there? That's another goalie animation on the crease thing they said. So yeah, that's an interesting reaction here. Aiden Hill. That was kind of a bit much, but that's a cool reaction, I guess. See what else we got here. Some big hits. I did like what they said about the new Ice Cube stuff. That's going to be interesting. So that was one of the main things I want to talk about that I noticed in the playtest without even realizing what it was. So we'll get to the one about the shots from the point here. So this says mid-range shots. Where's the one about the point? You can see Hellbuck's save percentage in close right there. So apparently they took these and we should notice it. I'm curious to see if that'll be an actual thing, how that might affect like who's a meta goalie, who's not. If the meta is scoring from the point, maybe we want a goalie who's got better save percentages from the point. Maybe that'll be a thing. That'd be kind of fun. But where's the 1T? The skating speed one, obviously, I feel like it's probably one of the ones we most felt already, but maybe there'll be an even bigger impact than there was before. This is going to be really cool for offline modes. It's kind of silly for HUT because obviously towards the end of the year, everyone's just got maxed out speed. So it's not like, I don't know how the Ice Cube will work at that point. Will McDavid still be a little bit faster than everyone else? I don't know. I think I just skipped right over it, but I just want to say, so I was under the assumption from the playtest that it seemed like the 1Ts got really nerfed, but it could have just been based off of my team where I had guys with not very good slap shots. Like I was taking 1Ts and they were going like low 90 mile per hour, maybe high 80 mile per hour. Where in NHL 25 currently, if you do a timed 1T, pretty much anybody can get like 100 miles per hour and it just goes in. So I think that's what I felt. Maybe they didn't quite nerf the 1Ts. Rather, it's just only the guys known for their hard shots can actually do those really powerful 1Ts. Which means if that's true, then those guys with the really high 1Ts will probably be meta, but usually they're slower. So I wonder how that'll play out in HUT and stuff. I guess Kale McCarr probably has like a hard shot with good skating. Like it's just going to make guys like that even better. This thing was interesting. I didn't notice this in the playtest. Maybe it wasn't there. This hot and cold. This is kind of like, I think I want to say NBA has this where depending on where you are, you're either or I should explain this better. Based off the statistics, it looks like Kempe here might be really good at shooting over here versus he's more cold over here, over here, over here, or at the point. Obviously, Ovi would be like insanely hot in this area. So I guess their stats probably get a boost in that area when they're taking shots and stuff like that. So that's interesting to see. So if you have Ovi on this side, you know you got to take Ovi, which I like that. Or apparently Suzuki looks like he's a lot better in this zone here. I don't know what this Ottawa's defense is doing. How do you let this happen? My goodness. But that's cool to see. Got shooting percentages. So all of these different stats. I feel like this one... So this is kind of interesting. So before, I thought this stat was just one of the stats that would get tracked in like franchise mode, or I guess even in a HUT, where it's like their face-off percentage when they're at the dot over the span of the games they've played. But this might be their actual face-off percentage now in real life. So you get a better feel for who has the higher overall rating. I'm interested to see how close they stuck by this, or how this affects like people who want to just change up the ratings. I wonder if the ratings will be better now that they're using all these stats, if people will feel as much like they need to do their custom rosters. Obviously potential and stuff is always going to change. Or how do these stats change with player growth and stuff like that? Like, these are questions I would consider. Maybe it's an easy answer, but right now I can't really think of it. There's that some desperation animations here in the crease. Fighting looks the same. Got a 1T here from Brent Clark. Looks like he was about to get laid out. The other thing I want to talk about, besides this goalie crease animation stuff that we saw, there's from the playtest, there's a lot, or at least I thought there was quite a lot of new animations, and you can see them here. They were cool. I like them. They were more realistic than those old desperation saves. It looked a lot better, more believable. You could still get robbed. You still got robbed a lot, but it's not like this system. This system was so stupid. I kind of hate when they do this, when they show their old game and comparing it to their new game, and they're like, look guys, it was so bad before, but now it's good. It's like, if you knew it was bad, why did you allow this to go out? Why did you drop this? Why were you working on the goalie? You're like, yeah, this will be good for NHL 25. I think we've had this in 24 as well. I can't really remember. But why did this get green light? That was so awful. It was so bad. You should have kept working on the goalies. Maybe it takes too long. I don't know. But these look awesome. This type of thing. This was one that I noticed in the playtest. When you would let these go sometimes and it would go in like that. So I'm curious to see, like, Fejmelka, he's probably only like what, maybe an 84 overall goalie, something like that. I wonder if like a Hellebuck lets these in ever, or maybe it has to do probably a mix with your stamina. You can see his stamina's maxed out, so that's just him being a low overall goalie. So if this means goalie ratings really matter this year, I'm kind of down for that. That would be cool. That would be cool if in HUT you could actually be hyped if you pull a goalie, rather than just being like, oh, I pulled a goalie. Cool. But I would be down for that. That would be cool also for franchise mode. Well, not necessarily if it doesn't affect the simulation. It might not affect the simulation, but I would be down for that. Also, the new goalie reactions is always cool. It always sucks when you see the same like reactions from all the players and stuff. It makes the game feel really stale. The new refreshed, I thought this was spelled wrong for a second. The new refreshed X Factors. So you got Elite. I wonder, did they limit how many a player has? Because you got Connor McDavid here with 3. He has Wheels, Elite Edges, and Ankle Breaker. So what is this screen? We got Skating Strength. It looks like it sorts them by the different categories. I don't know if this is an actual... This might just be like a screen to like show off the new X Factor system. But you can see the difference between Specialist, All-Star, and Elite. Interesting that this says 3. Oh, is it like... So it's plus 3% over the normal speed, and then another plus 3% over this, and then another plus 3% over this. And then this is 3%, and then 5% over this, and then... I don't really understand this graph because it says 50 seconds, 1 second, 2 seconds. I don't know if the math is mathing here, but I'm also not a big math guy, so I'm not going to try to understand it. But second wind, I want to say that's either... Well, no, that's definitely new. It might just be a rename. I think they renamed, maybe changed some of the logos. Got energy recovery. Other ones I think we've seen before. Actually, I don't know if we had... It says send it. Well, we've had send it. They changed the logo. It gives your passes a temporary acceleration. I don't know if that's how it worked before. What else we got? Sponge. We've had Sponge. We've had Post to Post. Dialed in. I think that's... I don't know if it's a new one, but I know that's a new logo. I don't recognize seeing that. Reaction save. Bonus resets after letting in a goal. Interesting. Okay. There's that one-handed shot. I did not do that in the beta. I did not know that that was going to be a thing. Hopefully there's not some type of glitch that could be done with that or something stupid. Again, I think quick pickups was there. I want to say was there, but that's definitely a new logo. And hipster, I think, is brand new, which is a X Factor related to hip checking, which is said, I think it plays it here in a sec, but it gave it to Gudos. There's quick pick for Barkov. That's cool, the way he lifted up his stick. I don't know if it worked like that before. I feel like you just picked up the puck better. But there's the hipster one. You see a lot of X Factors flash here. You got Showstopper, Elite Edges. Interesting. Okay. So where's the heat thing here on Bouchard? Because, like, what do we see here? We see his circle's red, but that's usually just for player 1, right? And then his X Factor, I didn't mean to get out that. X Factor lights up red, so that means he has the Elite Rocket X Factor. But where's the heat zones? Unless this correlates to the heat zones. But I could have sworn they said there's an icon or something you can see for the zones. Okay, what was that? What was that? Who is that? That's Urson in it. I didn't even notice this the first time through. I guess it's Crosby backhander, but damn, Urson. That's rough. Got big tipper. Nice little toe drag shot. Big save. I really like this animation here. I think they showed it in the last trailer. This, like, I don't know what you're going to want to call it. It's like kind of just like all out. I like it. Got some deeks here by Connor. Ends up just doing the backhand forehand. Kind of cheese. But yeah, overall, I think for a gameplay trailer, I really liked what we've seen here. If you saw the comments or the live reactions, people were definitely expecting a lot more. But this is just the gameplay deep dive, which means we might, hopefully, we should guarantee to have a Be a Pro one because we know there's a lot of Be a Pro changes. I'm curious to see if there will be a franchise one because I haven't heard anything about franchise. So that'll be interesting to see. So I would say we definitely have at least one more of these to go, which for me means another early morning. But probably 2 of them if it's franchise mode as well. Okay, well, oh, why is my mouse doing that? So we're on the website here. Almost forgot to check this out, but we do some, oh my God. We do have some additional information here. So more specifically, 80 plus new animations. That's actually quite a lot, I want to say. I want to say that's more than they usually get, or maybe not. Maybe last time they said like 105, but it's nice to see the goalies getting a bunch of animations. I like it. Positional awareness, save logic. What else we got here? Real-time responsiveness. A lot of buzzwords. I'm assuming most of this was talked about in the trailer. Emotions in the crease. We also want to give goalies more presence. You'll see desperation glove save, split second pad save or slides, an emotional reaction after game. The result is a goaltending experience that feels active, alive from puck drop to the final horn. 28 abilities across 5 categories. So someone's going to have to do the math. Is this more than we had before? Probably. I doubt they put it lower. That wouldn't be good. So the new tier. So what do we have before? We had just silver and gold, and that was it. And then you had 5 slots. Or you had 5 slots. Was it 5? You had, was it 4 silver slots and 1 gold slot? Or 1 gold slot, 5 silver slots. I think it was 4 and 1. I don't know. I think this sounds better. But then you got more of the elite ones. So overall, I feel like 3 elite X Factors is probably going to be better than what we had before. So maybe that's even more of a boost. I wonder. I think it's a good system because sometimes like you'd have a guy like McDavid where it's like, yeah, you got to give him all the X Factors, but it's like, does he really deserve like a beauty backhand or something? I don't know. I'm kind of speaking out my ass, but I think I like this. I think I like it. I don't know. I feel like the gold and silver, the one thing is it did look a little bit more clean. I feel like this kind of looks a little bit random. I don't know. What is this? Visual feedback. Where's menus? Where's menus? So this is the type of graphs that they're basing stuff off of. What is this? This is max speed of miles per hour. Is this? No, this is shot speed. So Tage Thompson out of, what is this? Like 100, no, this is like 250 shots nearly. Only 5 of them were over 100 miles per hour. So I'm curious to see, like, if you tested this, would 5 shots actually be 100 miles per hour out of 250 shots? I feel like it might be more, but what do I know? He also got the top speed for one of the shots. So how much does that matter? But these are going to be the guys that you're hitting those 1Ts with. So that's kind of interesting. So there's no Kel Makar up here. So could we actually see a situation where maybe a Tyler Myers card is good to use in the beginning just because you can just give him a bunch of 1Ts and he's going to make those? Maybe. At the end of the year, does this mean that Tyler Myers is going to be really good when he gets all his speed stats up, or will it not matter? I don't know. Okay, here's some examples of the tendencies we talked about. So they talked about the Leon Draisaitl one. Actually, I think they talked about all of these. The Nathan McKinnon physical one. I didn't know he was that physical, but I guess he is. You got Ovechkin's spot, and then Trouba's open ice hits. This better be good, man. The Trouba open ice hit. That'll be kind of fun. I would love to just open ice hit someone massively. There's the hot cold. I wonder how much this will actually affect it. Does it say like anything statistically? It kind of talks about this hypothetically of what it should do, but it doesn't seem. Expanded replay. Is this even talking about it? Presentation. Yeah, I don't really know how much this will matter. I'm assuming it has to be some type of stat boost or something. I hope it's not just like, oh, for funsies, like, hey, Kempe's better in this spot. Like, that's just like a fun fact, but doesn't actually affect the gameplay. Like, that'd be kind of lame. Vision control LT. We made a targeted adjustment to how vision control behaves when used aggressively up ice. In NHL 25, players were able to skate forward or hustle with LT held and maintain puck-facing posture with minimal downsides. In many cases, this was becoming the dominant way to carry the puck in transition, even when it wasn't the most appropriate choice. Is this LT is the skating? Is this the speed glitch they're trying to talk about? Because that was in the play test, or am I misunderstanding this? In NHL 26, we've added a penalty to consecutive pivot overrides in those situations. You could still use vision control to scan and protect effectively, but doing so repeatedly while skating forward is no longer the most efficient way to do through the neutral zone. The intention is to reward smarter and more deliberate use of vision control and restore balance between control and acceleration when skating with the puck. So if I'm reading this right, instead of just like trying to find a bug fix for it, they just made it a penalty for, I think they're talking about the boost, which is kind of goofy, really goofy, because what kind of penalty are you even going to call that? That's not really realistic at all. And it's lazy. It's super lazy. And also, how good is this penalty call going to be? Because again, in the play test I could pull it off, but maybe this is something they added after the play test. I didn't see this penalty in the play test, so that's kind of a weird one. Oh, a speed penalty? I didn't even consider that. Did it say that? It just said a penalty to consecutive pivot overrides in those situations. If it's a speed penalty, that's still kind of weird. That still is kind of weird, because that means you can do it a couple times, but then when we learn like how many you can do, it's going to be like, okay, after you've done 2, maybe in a period, you can't do it again, or else it's not going to work as well. Or maybe it's still, even with a slight speed boost, or sorry, a slight speed reduction, it's still good. So I don't know. This sounds like a really weird fix for it. It just feels like you could have done a bug fix or something. It's just, I don't know. It sounds weird. Hip checks have also been adjusted based on how they were used, particularly in forechecking situations. I like how I just completely changed this word. We want to address the scenario where players would skate directly at the puck carrier and quickly flip 180 degrees to deliver a hip check at full force. Yes, this was just stupid and unrealistic. Kind of fun, but stupid and unrealistic. This was in line with how hip checks were intended for the function. To address this, hip check strength is now reduced based on turn angle. Okay, that sounds like an actual good fix. If you need to rotate sharply into the animation, the check will become less effective. This encourages better alignment and more realistic use of the body positioning. Okay, that sounds like an actual good bug fix. That sounds like a good way to go about it. I don't think the other one's a good way to go about it, but this sounds like a good way to go about it. We'll have to see how it plays. Reverse hit rebalancing. Okay, this one's kind of big. Reverse hits have been retuned to give size and strength a more consistent impact on outcomes. So I'm guessing, I think this was already supposed to be a thing, but I guess they made it even stronger. Larger players now have a clear advantage when absorbing contact and redirecting force through a reverse hit, which helps reinforce physical identity and role. Smaller skaters can still use reverse hits situationally, but they will no longer be able to consistently win collisions against bigger players by default. I don't know. I guess this was a problem. I didn't really notice this. I feel like a lot of players don't use the reverse hit. It's more like of a higher skill level thing that players use. You see it more commonly at higher skill levels. This change creates more believable outcomes and rewards smarter timing instead of relying purely on animation triggers. So that sounds good. Puck skills, you can now pull off toe drags while moving backwards or laterally, something that previously only worked when skating forward and stationary. This opens up a new way to control spacing or bait defenders from a different angle. There's also a new fake shot animation with the ability to pass directly out of it, adding an extra layer of deception and fluidity. In addition, players can now stick handle more naturally while gliding, giving smoother control in transition and in tight spaces. I didn't know about this fake shot animation. We're going to have to play around with that one. I don't know if that one was in the playtest, but I didn't notice that one. Final shots. This is probably buzzwords and whatnot, but this all sounds so good. It does. I'm not gonna lie, I really like a lot of these gameplay changes. I'm not a big fan of how they went about fixing the vision control speed boost, but everything else sounds really good. It's all going to come down to how it plays. This does get me excited for the gameplay. I feel like the gameplay, the skating was a pretty big change, but I feel like it really needed this overhaul. This Ice Q 2.0, we'll have to see how good it is. But if it really gets people playing more like how they do in real life, the tendencies, hopefully something they build upon in the next NHL and the one after that, and we just get all these tendencies. I feel like we've needed those for so long. It's actually, I don't know if I mentioned this in my wish list last year for NHL 25. I think I did, but this has been one of the things I've wanted like the most. These tendencies, stuff like that, things that make McDavid play like McDavid, so that you're not having just like fourth line. I was going to say Nicholas Roy. That's not a really good example. Fourth line Teddy Bluger, basically able to do the exact same things that McDavid's able to do. Things that really make it feel like McDavid is McDavid. I feel like we've needed those for a long time. So these all sound really promising. Now I'll redo my outro. If you enjoyed, give it a like, subscribe. I appreciate you. Until next time, take care.